What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, and you tune into another edition of my vlog. Want to say thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for all your support. You know, I'm all about that positivity and that motivation. And the black bastard is back home. Finally got the radiator installed and the trans cooler. So check it out. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. So I have the black bastard up here on the lift, and as you can see, we put a trans cooler up here to help cool the transmission with new lines and just kind of tighten everything up underneath the car.
That way we can take it out of the radiator too.
So that takes a lot of the pressure off the radiator for cooling the car, and also it's going to run a lot better as far as performance wise. You can see how we got the coilovers here. We got the exhaust coming back, and we'll have my guy, he tightened up the exhaust. So the exhaust is all this has been custom work, custom headers coming back here, and yeah, it's just a lot of work. He went through and cleaned all this up. All this was all messed up, and you can see where you got the lines up in there and the controller, which is going to kick that on when it reaches a certain temperature. But all this has been redone. My secret mechanic did all this right here and got the car to where it is now. And the last thing we're going to do is install the new radiator, which is going to make a world of difference. See, I got the monster sway bars here. All this right here has been tightened up. This is all raggedy, and still got a few things to do, but it's coming together.
So they had the ground cable coming up this way before and grounding up here, so you couldn't close this lid. And they had the other positive cables for your radio coming up here. So I ran a wire out through a grommet and then up right here through another grommet. So that powers this thing. Okay. Now this is the controller. I hate cutting wires. I mean, it would look better, but I leave the wires all, like this is an extra, if we want to put another fan or control another fan, that's what this is for.
And so what do you think it would be the best? Because you know I had that particle board on top for a cover. What do you think I should?
Same thing again.
Just put it on top, huh?
Just cover this whole thing. I leave this like this. But these wires, I don't really like the way they got them because they're like pinched underneath this wood, you know?
So that could be cleaned up, huh?
Well, it could be just put safer, like maybe run on top or maybe put a hold through here and run them up to the bottom. I don't know. I mean, so now this is powered off here. So this is hot all the time off that. Okay. This yellow wire, there was an extra wire in this loom that was cut at the front, so it must have been for like the ABS brakes. Okay. So I just used that wire. I've hooked it up there to a key-on hot fuse. Okay. So it comes back here. That makes this hot when the key comes on. And then these two wires are going to that sending unit in that Y. So when it gets to the right temperature, then it will turn on the relay. This is controllable right here by that little screwdriver thing. Okay. So right now it's set at 160. So once I get it done, and I'm running the radiator and seeing how that is, I'm going to take my Raytech and keep an eye on the temperature on this thing, because it won't get hot until it's in gear. Okay. It has to be like in gear, but in not moving. Driving on the freeway won't get hot. I mean, this fan will probably only be on in stop and go traffic. Okay. Which is good, because it's just one less thing on the alternator, you know? Yeah. And that's the same thing with that radiator. If that radiator works like we hope, then the fans ain't going to be on nowhere near as much, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but yeah, I hate this stuff. So get a good look at the black bastard right now as he sits, because he's not going to look like this for long. The body kit's going to go on next, and I'm going to do a video as we start doing the body kit, the Y body, so that you guys can see how Big Herc 916 gets down. But it's going to look pretty aggressive, and he's going to be ready to put in some work. So the motor's finally starting to come together, and as you can see, the new radiator is installed. Ron Davis custom. Got the dual fans in the back, if you can see in there. Custom brackets. Shout out to my mechanic who put in some work on this. He had to move everything forward a little bit and make sure everything fit and cleared. There's the tight space in between the serpentine and the radiator, so he had to work his magic. Got the overflow tank installed,
Did a few things as far as with the AC. It's still got a couple little parts I'm waiting on for the vintage air. It's got the vintage, and I'm gonna make a cover for that back there in the back to cover up those wires and stuff eventually, so it'll look a little cleaner in here. But the motor's a little dusty because I haven't really got a chance to detail it yet since I got it back. But the cross member is back in since we have this new thermostat housing. It's more room for that to be installed, which is cool because it stiffens the car up. And she runs at about 170 now, so I'm happy, man. I mean, I can enjoy the car and not have to worry about any overheating. But this radiator made such a big difference, and the fans are set to come on. One fan comes on, the other one comes on at a certain temperature, and so, you know, the car, I don't have to worry about it in LA traffic, any overheating issues. But you know, little 350, a little mild cam, not a whole lot of room to put too much else underneath here, but the car handles its business for what it does, and I'm gonna track the car once I get it completely done and use this kind of like my track slash, you know, show car outside of my other cars. So that's the motor on the Black Bastard. He's finally starting to show some character. It's always something with these cars, man. You know, my wife always tells me just buy something done, but you know, I got to put my touch on it. So, and there's going to be a couple little things we'll detail the motor up with, some clamps and some other stuff to kind of make it look a little more fancy when I pop the hood. But for right now, the car brakes good, runs good, and handles business. I'm gonna add some bigger tires because the tires right now are a little too small, I think, for the rim, just because the way it initially fit on. So I have to get some bigger tires. Same thing in the back. You can kind of see how the tires are not as big as they could be, but with the wide body, I'll be able to put bigger tires and also lower the car some more. So that's the Black Bastard, you guys.